everybody. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the Mortgage Innovators podcast, where we deliver fresh and hopefully entertaining insights on all things mortgage and the innovation that is propelling our industry forward. Well, I'm Sue Woodard, and on every Tuesday, you can find our rotating group of hosts and co-hosts who all share their own very unique connection to the mortgage industry. And this week, we're continuing our Real ROI series, where all of the episodes are focused on technology and the ROI that you can get from that technology, because that is ringing a lot of bells in the mortgage industry right now. So before we get into this episode, I want to introduce our guest of honor, who is Jen Peachman. How are you doing, Jen?
Hey, Sue, I'm fabulous. It's so great to see you. So thankful for you having me today.
Well, you're always fabulous, and we know that. You're a fan favorite with so many people in the mortgage industry, and you're on a new and kind of cool adventure. You're the manager of strategic partnerships at Capacity.
Yes, ma'am. I've been here for 5 months now. It's been a fantastic crew to join, and I'm super excited to be a part of the California MBA and today's podcast.
Awesome. Well, here we are. So, the conversations that we've been having lately are all about ROI, because I think, with the shifts that we're seeing in the mortgage industry, and obviously that's just the drop in volume, everybody's taking a good hard look at their tech stack, at their expenses. And I was just this morning on a pretty incredible Stratmore workshop with a group of sales and marketing executives. And, a lot of the things they were talking about were, where can we, employ more automation in order to save expenses, right? How do we make an investment so that we can save some money? But how do we ensure that we're creating great experiences at the same time for both our employees as well as for our customers? And ROI, that just wonderful 3-letter acronym, comes up in every single conversation on that front. And so I wanted to have you, just because I know that this is really something that you specialize in. And so, where does it talk a little bit about just kind of your experiences, what you're finding out about utilizing automation to drive ROI? Can you just talk a bit about that?
Right now, like you said, everybody's looking for the tech solution or solutions that's going to give them real hard ROI, right? And I think for us, our focus is on really helping your teams do the real work. What we say, help them do their best work. Especially in this market, you want to have folks doing more with less, right? And then sometimes there are some cases where big folks are losing their positions or moving into other roles based upon folks kind of right-sizing their organization and allocating their resources based on the tech that they've put together. For us, it's aligning all of those systems of record and systems that your teams are in every single day and trying to have them work together cohesively and support your team either externally or internally. So for us, it's really important. It's what everyone's worried about. I certainly advise folks to work with companies who are going to help you calculate that ROI that you can expect right out of the gate with them. What we are trying to have folks do is to stop allocating your high value resources to low value tasks. There are so many manually completed or repetitive processes that can be automated, from questions internally hitting your underwriters or your managers' desks. I hear that a lot. Our VPs are answering a lot of these questions. Why? To onboarding new employees, to searching scenarios. It's time-consuming stuff that takes away your team from what's most important to them, right? Closing loans faster. So everyone's certainly looking at automation where they can. I think, the support internally that we can provide with our chatbots is certainly providing ROI. I did pull a couple of use cases because I knew you were going to ask, show me the dollars. Like, where are you really saving people money, right? So we have over 50 customers within the mortgage space. I took some samples and really boiled it down to our average customer. Right now, our average lender doing about $1 to $5 billion a year. We're seeing 6,000 questions come in internally. That's not externally, just internally from their teams. We calculate what we call the deflection rate, right? So how many times in dollars are we saving your teams and your people from answering those questions that are inundating your team? So of those 6,000 questions that the average $1 to $5 billion lender gets, we're seeing 90% deflection rate. So we boiled it down and we crunched the numbers. The average cost to answering one of these questions ranges anywhere from $8 to $25, depending on the question, the resources that you're hitting, or the complexity of that question, right? We are seeing that we are deflecting 90%. I'm calculating at $10, right, on the low end of that scale. That's $54,000 a month that we're saving just in internal resources alone. So the question is, whether it's the person asking the question, the person answering the question, the time you're spent searching for that, time is money. So equip your teams and make a solution that can connect all of those systems that you need info from into one little spot.
So you said some really interesting things there, because one of the talk tracks that I hear a lot from executives is coming off of the last 2 years standing in the money machine, and also some of the movements, the hires that they made. I've heard a lot of executives express that we have all of these disparate systems that are not necessarily tied together, right? And we're not even sure what everything does and how do they tie together, and then how do we make sure we're getting ROI out of them, or that they're actually useful for us. And so what I love that you just talked about is, you talked about that it can really does tie together all these different systems, and coming down to the numbers of 6,000 questions that are getting asked, presumably across all of these systems, right? You've got a question about this technology, a question about this thing, how do I get into this thing? And when you said a deflection rate, is that, when you say a 90% deflection rate, does that mean that when you employ capacity, then you're able to take 90% of those questions, because they're the same darn question all the time about something in this stack or something at your company, and you're able to provide an answer to it without it having to go to a person?
You're exactly right. Where are we deflecting that question from hitting a human being? Our average right now within our entire customer space is 92.3% of questions are answered automatically within less than 2 seconds.
That's pretty cool.
Incredible data. And it's surprising. We do a lot of analytics and reporting. We do quarterly business reviews with our customers, and we show them the numbers. And what's interesting to us too is we find a lot of questions that people aren't aware that people have questions about, right? So I can show their C-suite, I can show their leadership teams, hey, here's an opportunity for you to do some retraining on this specific subject.
Right.
Maybe you're rolling out a new product. Maybe you're rolling out some new non-QM or jumbo solutions, right? That's where we can see those questions come in. We can provide real answers. And the coolest thing is, once those questions are answered, the system learns, it gets smarter, and you won't have that question coming to a human ever again once it's answered. So that being said, we're complicated in this industry. We know that, but we've found something that works, that brings all of those HR solutions, Encompass, CRMs, point of sales all together so that it's right at your folks' fingertips. I call it supercharging your human capital, really.
Yeah. Well, and it's also not just the thing that I love that you're talking about, is it's not just efficiencies for the people that are answering all these questions, right? Because that sucks them out of their, whatever it is that they're focused on. I mean, they say every time you get interrupted, from doing a project, it takes, it really in real life takes you about a half an hour to get yourself back kind of into that zone of that thing you're working on. But the other thing is the person asking the question, presumably in a lot of cases, it could be your producers. And the last thing that you want is them getting slowed down. I'm waiting for an answer on this thing. Now I got to remember to call this person back. So much good stuff in there in terms of just the efficiency and productivity, employee experience, and it's got to translate into customer experience and revenues as well. And I love that you can put your money where your mouth is and actually prove out the savings, right? Customers. Tell me a story though. I want to hear, give me an example of, times are a little crazy right now. Give me an example of somebody who recently, came into your world, an IMB, don't name any names, but kind of went, wow, and adopted capacity, and what kind of results are they seeing?
Yeah, so I can't name names here, but a longtime customer that got involved with us saw a lot of return right out of the gate. We started in a specific couple of areas of their organization. We've now gone to replace their entire help desk solution, right? So we can replace that entirely all under one roof, and you can get rid of, a solution that's really not focused on deflection. They're focused on quantifying tickets. We're trying to eliminate tickets here, right? I also have a customer that started with us kind of with our starter pack, right? Just wanted to see what it was all about, see how they could get a little dangerous. And after a year with us, we've expanded our agreement with them. We're now looking into some disaster reporting automation, as well as pricing automation, pricing engine automation. So, I think for us, we like to focus when we work with new customers on where is their biggest struggle? Where are those teams that need help, that need relief, or that need that boost so that they can focus back their time?
Yep.
Once we get people in the system, they see the value, they start adding in other solutions. And most folks start on that internal support, but it's not limited to that. I have a lot of customers that use us externally. And some of our largest lenders are seeing north of 20,000 questions a month. So for us, the
Yeah.
more you have more folks in the system, the more powerful the solution can be. And the ROI gets exponential from there. So I think people have a preconceived notion of what we may be able to do. I think we're more than folks think we can do. And it's exciting to be a part of conversations. I was just talking with a CIO today that I was introduced to, and wasn't supposed to be a sales call, was just trying to get to know the guy because he's really well respected, and I wanted to just get to know him and pick his brain a little bit, right? And then I got into a conversation and I said, hey, let's chat after Labor Day. It's coming up into that month end holiday weekend. He said, nope, we're doing it next week. I'm getting the whole team. So I think it's no secret. People are out there, they're looking, they're evaluating, and they're planning really how can they scale for growth without throwing bodies at problems. How can we really have a solution that's scalable?
Absolutely. So, and I love that you have a starter pack. I don't even know what that is, but I'm kind of like you've got a way for people to try something out. So let me ask you, because we're getting close to the end of our time, but
Sure.
I'm hoping I'm going to see you around this fall. We're heading into fall conference season.
You know
Super
it's a
excited about it. I know people listening are probably going to be doing the same. Where are we going to see Jen Peachman and the capacity team around this fall?
Where will I be? So I will be, the next thing I have is Digital Mortgage in Vegas. Super excited for that one. I also have Base Camp with Lenders One in Cleveland. I'm so excited someone's coming to my hometown. And then I'm going to quick flight right after that, head to the Mortgage Collaboratives Conference and MBA Annual, of course. And I'm not sure what I'm doing just yet for November, December, but that's a sneak peek of 4 biggies that are on my ticket.
Yeah, well, probably helping out all the wonderful customers that you've helped out during conference season. So I am
Yeah.
super looking forward to seeing you and seeing the rest of the team. You do have an amazing team there at Capacity, and I like that you're focused on the things that are really solving problems for lenders right here, right now, where they're at with that automation. So any parting words of wisdom for everybody out there, Jen?
I would say, take your time, have conversations, connect with folks. I think you don't know what you don't know until you learn about it, right? So I think now's the time. I think in these down markets, this is when innovation really occurs. And, I think it's going to be an interesting year, but I think everyone I've talked to is preparing themselves for how they can scale up when the time is right. They're making those critical decisions. And my advice is to connect with a vendor partner that's really going to treat you as a partner and help you along the way to make sure that you're getting your ROI. We want to see you be successful, right? The best vendors out there do, and we'll take your time showing you how it works and how we can get you that ROI. That's what everyone's looking for.
I love it. And you are spot on. The best businesses out there, the best lenders out there were made during these markets. They didn't survive, just survive these markets in the past. They made the moves right now in order to be scalable and build and be the powerhouses that they are today. So, hey, everybody out there, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. And if you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe to the Mortgage Innovators YouTube channel or wherever you podcast. So thanks again, Jen, and we'll see you all next time.